This marriage is not working for me. I never loved you. I tried to love you, but I could never love you. I was hurting when we met. I just needed someone or something to distract me from the pain. But the truth is, I never got over my ex, Femi. I am sorry it took me this long to say this, Aramide said, as tears filled her eyes. Akinwale was born into a really poor family. Even though he really loved school, the family didn't have enough money for him to continue his study. He dropped out of school at the age of 14 and started working to support his family. He made sure everyone in the family is not suffering from hunger. After a while, he had to go to the big city on his own to make more money for the family. After years of working and saving up enough money, he decided to start his own international trading business. Despite being uneducated, Akinwale worked hard on his business, and by the time he was 40, the business had grown and he successfully even took it to far greater heights. Akinwale met a young, fine, gorgeous lady, Aramide, and got romantically attracted to her. Aramide is a well-educated, classy, beautiful lady who exudes confidence, elegance, and sophistication. She dresses impeccably and comports herself with kindness and grace. Aramide had just recently finished from the university when Akinwale met her. However, Aramide had just gone through a rough breakup with her ex-boyfriend a few weeks before meeting Akinwale. Aramide considered her ex-boyfriend Femi the true love of her life. However, as the relationship failed, it was hard for her to get over the heartbreak and move on, and then came along Akinwale. Within a few weeks of expensive dates, luxury shopping, and quality time together, Aramide and Akinwale started dating. Aramide never lacked anything. Akinwale is a true rich money spender in every meaning of the term. Therefore, he spoiled Aramide with so much love, money, and gifts. One evening, as they were on a dinner date, Akinwale, who was completely captivated by Aramide, who looked radiant as usual, asked her to marry him, promising her a life of luxury and comfort. Aramide knew she never loved Akinwale, but she thought to herself that saying no to him means saying no to a life of luxury. So she said a big yes. Akinwale's joy knows no bounds. He was going to marry his dream woman. In no time, she got pregnant and they formalized the relationship. They had a traditional marriage, and within a year, they had a pretty baby girl called Wura. Barely a year into their marriage, Aramide started complaining about Akinwale. She complained about his appearance, about his dressing, about the way he talked, even the way he ate. Nothing Akinwale did made sense to her. Akinwale tried everything he could to please her. He even registered in the gym, although he never had time to go regularly because of his busy schedule. Despite his efforts to please his wife, nothing he did worked for Aramide. He just wasn't enough. Their activity in the bedroom had also reduced. Aramide was so unattracted to Akinwale romantically. She would give different excuses as to why she couldn't do anything. But Akinwale never complained. He hoped one day his wife would change. After about 4 years, Aramide told Akinwale, her husband, that she would like to go for masters in the UK. Akinwale, being a lover of education, decided to sponsor her. Akinwale fully paid for her masters. He paid for house rent and gave her monthly allowance for her upkeep. He bought her a car as soon as she landed in the UK. She was living the baby girl life in the UK, unlike other students who had to hustle and work for 20 hours a week to be able to pay their bills. Aramide was living a comfortable life. All Akinwale wanted was for his wife to focus on her masters and not be distracted or bothered by any stress. Aramide and Akinwale also agreed that Wura would stay with Akinwale in Nigeria while Aramide was doing masters, and once the masters was over, Aramide would be back home in Nigeria. As the masters was rounding up, and with the situation and state of Nigeria getting worse, Aramide explained to Akinwale that she feels it would be better if they all relocate to the UK as a family. Akinwale was fine with this, but he felt it may be difficult for him to fully relocate as all his businesses were in Nigeria. So, they reached a compromise. Aramide and Wura would relocate to the UK fully. Then, Akinwale would be visiting from time to time while trying to figure out if there's a way for him to also fully join them. And that sounded like a good plan. Aramide started sending Akinwale some paperwork for him to sign regarding consent for relocation to the UK for Wura. She would send him some more documents, many which were voluminous, but he mostly signed a lot of them without reading much details. So everything was sorted, and the only thing left was for Wura to start living with her mother in the UK and for Akinwale to start visiting them both till they figure out if he would fully relocate. By this time, Aramide had finished studying in the UK. Akinwale was supposed to take Wura to the UK, but Aramide told him she would be home in Nigeria to pick Wura up since she needed to visit them at home anyways. Eventually, Aramide went back to Nigeria. Everything was fine until about a month after, and then Aramide, with sober look, said to her husband, "Akinwale, I have something to tell you, which is eating me up and killing me inside." He asked her what it was, and then she dropped the bombshell on him. "This marriage is not working for me. I never loved you. I tried to love you, but I could never love you. I just broke up with my ex and I was hurting when we met. I just needed someone or something to distract me from the pain. But the truth is, I never got over my ex, Femi. I am sorry it took me this long to say this," she said as tears filled her eyes. Akinwale laughed out loud, thinking Aramide was playing around. He looked straight into her eyes and immediately knew she wasn't playing. This was real. He was totally shocked, dumbfounded and speechless. He felt so weak and sick. He tried to talk, but words failed him. His world came crashing right in front of him. There was no suitable response to this sort of bombshell. Just as Akinwale was trying to comprehend what just happened, Aramide went ahead and dropped a bigger bombshell. She told Akinwale that the document he signed for Wura was the formal transfer of full parental responsibility of Wura to Femi, who had now officially adopted her and will henceforth be her father. "I am sorry," she said. At this point, Akinwale was more shocked and in disbelief. He was at a loss for words. He tried to force his voice out, but it refused. And so he sat there, silently willing his voice to speak and his brain to think. He wished it was a prank and his wife would laugh at him and end this horror. But that never happened. This was real. His world was truly crumbling before his eyes. Akinwale finally managed to move his legs. He stood up, walked to his room, carried a small bag, and left the house to a hotel to clear his head. After a few days, Akinwale went back home with his friend Kola. He already explained everything to Kola. He wanted Kola to talk to Aramide to see if he had offended her in any way. Kola asked her, and she confirmed to him that it's all true. She said, "I never loved Akinwale. and I am so sorry for hurting him this way. I wish Akinwale well because he has never hurt me and he didn't deserve any of this. I never got over my ex and now he's back. I'm going back to Femi as he's the only one who gives me joy. Aramide confirmed as her UK student visa was going to expire soon. She had already secured a work visa because she feels she needed to move on with her life and she hoped Akinwale would do the same. Did Akinwale cheat on you? Did Akinwale hit you? Did Akinwale treat you badly? Kola asked Aramide out of total confusion. Aramide said Akinwale never cheated on her, never hit her, and never treated her badly. Akinwale is a good man, but I am just not the one for him, she said in tears. She says she feels choked in the marriage. Aramide stated that she wasn't happy in her marriage with Akinwale, hence she couldn't give Akinwale happiness as she couldn't give what she didn't have. Akinwale was sad, lost and confused all at once. None of it made sense. He's lost his wife. He's lost his child. He's lost his marriage. He's lost everything. He felt all alone in the world. He felt betrayed and he felt like a failure. He asked her, "Am I the father of Wura? Does the child belong to me or Femi?" Aramide looked at him, thought about the question. She said nothing and walked out. Akinwale was so devastated. He cried like a baby. He felt lost. He asked his friend Kola, "Could it be because I'm uneducated?" Kola answered, "My friend, being uneducated is not a crime, but being uneducated and trusting the wrong person is a mistake that can ruin anyone." Aramide packed her things and left her matrimonial home with Wura. She felt so free and happy. I will finally be with the love of my life. I am indeed a lucky woman, she said to herself and smiled. She put a call through to her lawyer to draw up the divorce papers and serve Akinwale the papers as she had made up her mind to leave the marriage. She also put a call through to Femi to expect her as she would soon be on her way to the hotel from where they would both go to the airport. However, something terrible happened to Aramide on her way. She had a terrible accident. She and Wura were rushed to a nearby hospital and she was in coma for a few days. While in coma, her lawyer had drawn up her divorce papers and had served Akinwale. After a few days of being in coma, she woke up and got a terrible news that shocked her. Doctor told her she could no longer make use of her legs. The accident had crippled her. She cried and cried. Luckily, Wura didn't sustain any fatal injury. While in coma, doctors were able to reach her last dialed number, which was Femi. Femi had visited her in the hospital and he had heard from the doctor that Aramide would not be able to walk again. Femi left heartbroken but never returned. He had abandoned Aramide. Aramide called him, but all he could say was, "I am sorry. I won't be able to continue the relationship." Akinwale went to the hospital and picked Wura up, and they continued their father-daughter relationship. Akinwale's friend advised him to carry out a DNA test on Wura, but he said Wura would always be his daughter, regardless of what the result might be. Aramide lived her life alone in regret. Hey fam, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more beautiful African stories. Did you enjoy the story? Don't forget to like and share your review in the comment section. Thank you.